Alright, so this is going to be your off-the-cuff, no-script type of follow-up discussion, but Nintendo had a Direct. They just finished the Direct a few hours ago, and I uploaded my reaction, so I'm going to hit you with some of my thoughts on the Direct. There's a lot of stuff in this that didn't even cater to me, and I'm going to be honest, I feel like this Direct was solid. I thought it was really good. Like for me, like a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was solid. I had fun. It was a pretty fun Direct. Yeah, like a good balance of like really good first-party stuff here and there. Pikmin 4, a lot of DLC for a lot of different games and like spin-off stuff. Kirby's coming out later in this month. Xenoblade DLC, Splatoon DLC, and it's kind of big too. It's like a whole allusion to like this whole... I'll get to it later on. But that, Bayonetta, freaking... What else was in there? Freaking Fire Emblem DLC... And of course, just a lot of like really good like side games, RPGs, just like a good balance of like a lot of stuff here and there. Wheel of Katamari Reroll Plus, Octopath Traveler 2, Sea of Stars, Etrian Odyssey Origins, like all this stuff. Disney, what the heck? Disney Illusion Island, that game kind of looked really good. And of course, a lot of the stuff towards like the last third-ish with like Game Boy and Game Boy Advance coming in as so, Metroid Prime Remaster, freaking Mario Kart Wave 4, with Yoshi's Island, but also adding Birdo and Zelda, obviously, like... No, that's a really solid, like, lineup for a Direct. There's a lot of variety there for plenty of people. Even if it's, like for me, like, big Mario guy, right? I'm your fake gamer. I am your fake Nintendo fan. It's like, yeah, I love Nintendo. Oh, what games do you play? Just Mario, Smash, and Pokemon? It's basically it. There's a couple others, for sure, but, like, if you had to summarize, like, over 80 to 90% of, like, my experience with Nintendo games, it's like, yeah, it's just Mario and Zelda. No, not even Zelda. Mario, Pokemon, and Smash. But no, like, I can acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm familiar with these franchises, just I haven't played a lot of them, but even I can be like, yeah, that was really strong. I'm not gonna go over every single announcement there, but for your average Nintendo fan, quote-unquote, just because I opened that whole can of worms there, I thought it was good. It's like a B minus, B plus, not B. For me, B. For more people, I can imagine it's probably higher. But like for a February Direct, it's probably stronger than most February Directs, I would imagine. But yeah, I'm not gonna go over every single announcement they showed off. It's like not everything. But like you had like really cool stuff there. Octopath Traveler 2, there's a demo coming out later. Samba de Amigo, Party Central coming out in summer. Samba de Amigo getting a new game on Switch is pretty cool. Fashion Dreamer, Dead Cells. Dead Cells Return to Castlevania kind of looked a little bit dope. Deca Police looks cute. Freaking Disney Illusion Island. I really like the art style for that. That looked like a cute little platformer. Yeah, Sea of Stars, Etrian Odyssey Origins Collection, like all the, like the whole collection, that's pretty cool. Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp is finally coming out in a couple months. It's stopped being in development hell. Not development hell, but like, that shit was done for a long time, dude. It took forever for it to come out, and now it's coming out in April. That's really cool. The game looks really sick. Baten Kaitos 1 and 2 Remaster. For a long while, not too long, Bandai Namco was rumored to be remaking / remastering an old action-adventure game, like called classic old type of Nintendo game for Nintendo. A lot of people were kind of steering for Kid Icarus. Baten Kaitos was that game, but like that's another like cult classic type series, so that is gonna make a lot of people happy. That is pretty damn cool. Like, yeah, just like RPGs, third-party stuff, up the wazoo. It's like everywhere. It's like, yeah, I can't really be mad at this Direct. It's like, it's a lot of what you expect, but there's like plenty of decent surprises here and there, even for some of the stuff you expected. Like, oh, you expect Xenoblade 3 DLC, but then what they showed for that, same for Splatoon 3, and it's like Mario Kart. It's like, yeah, we gotta look at Wave 4, but they're adding characters. So, yeah, you get the idea. But, for, like, major highlights, it's mainly the first-party stuff I'll talk about for this follow-up discussion. Pikmin 4! Dude, my hopes for Pikmin 4 were so freaking low just because, like, that initial reveal, it's like, there was not a lot in that. I got Metroid Prime 4 flashbacks for that. But yeah, no, they started it off with that, and that's a really good starter for that. Ice Pikmin, new characters, the camera perspective's all brand new. Not all brand new, but it's not the same as it was in previous Pikmin games, so that is going to make kind of a difference. What else was there? Yeah, new characters and like stuff like that. The graphics looked really cool. Like, definitely a really good look at Pikmin 4. A lot of Pikmin fans are gonna eat that up so hard. I can already tell. And they got a release window for the game too. Release date, not even a window. July 21st. That is very good. That is a very good window for that game. Like 2 months after Zelda comes out, right in the middle of summer. That's a really good title to drop in the middle of summer. Pikmin 4, that's a really good summer game. I think that was a good idea. But yeah, the game looks really beautiful. It looks fun. I've not played Pikmin. I want to. I kind of want to. I can at least get 3. I'll emulate 1 and 2 probably. But yeah, that's a really good way. I don't know, man. I literally thought because, like, we got such little details on Prime 4. Like, Nintendo's done that thing before to where, like, they announce something and they don't reveal that much, if anything, and they waste such a long-ass time, because that kind of gives the implication that it's not that far along in development, something might have happened, and they just don't announce or reveal much for an extended period of time. So I figured Pikmin 4 was going to be in a similar boat, but yeah, no, I probably should have given it more hope when the fact that, like, freaking Pikmin 4 was said to be almost done 10 years ago. And, like, yeah, no, I probably should have put more faith in Pikmin 4. But yeah, that was a really good opener. Pikmin 4 looking really, really good. Hope people are looking forward to that. Dude, Nintendo is so careful. They are so careful to not spoiling Xenoblade. No. I completely botched that. I meant to say Zelda. Nintendo's always careful. Try not to spoil Zelda. And they don't give a flying shit about Xenoblade. They will spoil Xenoblade any opportunity they could get. Smash Bros, Numa, Mechafiora, and now with this DLC, dude, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. I find that funny, but that DLC looks really good. There's a new character, drops later this month, I think. I wasn't paying attention that much, but like Volume 4, I think that's the last batch, and that's coming later in the year. That looks, they seem to be going all out with what they showed off there. That's really cool. I'm trying to go in order. I took it all down on my phone. Bayonetta Origins, Cereza, and the Lost Demon. I predicted it was DLC for Bayonetta 3. I didn't know it was a prequel / spin-off type deal. I'm sorry, everyone who commented on that video when I predicted it. I'm sorry. My attention span's not that good when it comes to franchises I don't follow closely. Yeah, I'll fix that at some point in the future. I'll try. I'm sorry. Still, it looks really good. I hear it's supposed to fill holes from what Bayonetta 3 made. I don't even know if it fills holes for what 2 or 1 made. I'm unsure. It looks really good. Comes out next month. That looks really solid. Splatoon 3 expansion pass, though. Expansion DLC. Wave 1, they're bringing back Inkopolis. I have no idea if they're bringing back, like past custom gear and whatnot, but, like, Callie and Marie are there. They basically revived, like, the hub for Splatoon 1. Now, in a way, with this expansion pass, they're basically combining all 3, like, games in some major degree onto the Switch, and I think that's pretty cool. There was this whole, like, side campaign thing. I played very little of the first game, and I know next to nothing about 2 or 3. I feel like that side content is like a side campaign describing Marina's, like, whole backstory. I'm basically an outsider when it comes to Splatoon, right? So that's my whole assessment or guess as to what that whole thing was going on with what they showed off there. That looks really cool. And it's similar with Octo expansion. They're basically giving, like, this massive single-player type of content to Splatoon through these expansion DLCs. That's really cool. Expected, but still really cool. Not expected in the way that Marina was gonna get a whole side campaign, plus Inkopolis and all this other stuff they showed off, too. Cool stuff. Fire Emblem Engage. That's another game I'm like, oh, they might show DLC, and people told me, oh, Wave 1 already dropped, bro. What do you mean? But no, they still announced DLC. That's also getting expansion, too. It's like multiple characters coming in different waves. Hector, Soren, Camilla, Chrom, and Robin. Veronica from Heroes. Was not expecting Heroes characters to be in there. And a whole Valencenalog coming out much later. Wave 2 coming out today, so I think that's just with Hector. Or Hector and Soren, I wasn't paying attention too much. It's pretty cool. Octopath Traveler 2. Yeah, the little pixel remasters look pretty sick. I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Kirby Return to Dreamland. That is the third one. I got so many comments where people are like, oh, that actually didn't come out. Okay, that one's more on me. That one's the most on me than the other two. Because the box art for the game got leaked. And that whole Magalore epilogue, that shit was on the box art. I heard that like a week ago, but I immediately mistook that for like, oh, the game's out now? Sweet. I just completely misinterpreted it. So I assumed the game was out. That one, 100% is my fault. That one is the biggest L of those three when it came to the predictions video then. But if I knew if I remembered it came out like 2 weeks from now? 2 weeks from now. If it's coming out in like 2 weeks, if I remembered that, it would have been in the predictions. And I would have been like, okay, yeah, after that, they're probably going to dial back on Kirby. That said, though, Magalore epilogue, I know nothing about Return to Dreamland, but I know I'm telling you guys I'm a fake Nintendo fan, but the Magalore stuff, that's pretty cool. Return to Dreamland. Also a demo! They're releasing a demo for the game, like they did with Star Allies. That's pretty cool. I appreciate that a lot. Definitely the latter stuff interests me the most, like the last third of it more. Pikmin 4 is one thing, but like, from NSO onwards, I'm like, ooh, cause this was probably one of the, it's between two. Discounting Mario Kart, this was probably my biggest highlight. Game Boy and Game Boy Advance coming to NSO. Sure? See, it's funny, because, like, N64 came such a long time after NSO was established, right? After we got the whole pay thing with NES and SNES, right? Came so long after that. Game Boy, it's like, oh my god, I forgot when NSO got N64 games. But I feel like the window between that and Game Boy games is shorter than the window between N64 to SNES and NES games, right? So, Game Boy games, that's a good positive, and the lineup's solid too. Freaking Tetris, Mario Land 2, Kirby. I don't have it up on screen right now, I'm going completely based off memory, but like, they have like a solid amount of Game Boy games, and they literally said Game Boy Advance. I was not expecting Game Boy Advance to be in that collection too. Game Boy Advance is a part of the expansion pack, but basic Game Boy games, that's gonna be a part of like basic NSO. That makes sense. It does make sense. Game Boy Advance, I'm like, oh, they should probably add Mario Kart Super Circuit. Ooh, imagine if Mario Luigi Superstar Saga was added in there. And they literally had Mario Kart Super Circuit and Mario Luigi Superstar Saga in that order, like 5 to 10 seconds after I said it. That's like one of my favorite commentators' curse, and it's only gonna be like just a basic Nintendo Direct. I thought it was kind of funny. Oh yeah, Wario Land 3 is in there too. But yeah, Mario Kart Super Circuit, freaking Zelda, Link's Awakening DX, Superstar Saga, and like, of course, there's gonna be more games later on. F-Zero Terminal Velocity, I think was the name of the game. Kirby the Amazing Mirror, Zelda, Oracle of Seasons and Ages. Like, they're gonna add multiple Pokemon trading card game too. Like, that is a big positive. That is a big W for NSO. I genuinely think, especially with the addition of Game Boy Advance, that does add a lot to NSO, and especially justifies that $50 price point. Because especially when you account that, like, 3DS and the Wii did not have Game Boy stuff. Well, the 3DS had Game Boy stuff, but it didn't have Game Boy Advance stuff, and the Wii didn't have either one either. The Wii U did, but like, this does add more value to that. And you also factor the 3DS and Wii U eShops are shutting down, so if you migrate those games to NSO, then that makes a lot more sense to preserve them and give them to a much more lucrative, bigger, more active audience than it was on Wii U and 3DS, right? Oh yeah, Metroid 2 Return of Samus is going there too. Yeah, like, there's a solid lineup for both of those. You sold me on the Advance with just Mario Kart and especially Mario and Luigi. Dude, I threw around the idea, it's like, yo, imagine if Mario and Luigi showed up, even though the chances are really slim of it getting a new game. It's not a new game, but we technically did get a Mario and Luigi thing with this, now that Superstar Saga is going to come to NSO. Not today. Well, today, oh my god. See, this is what I get for having different priorities and not paying attention enough. Oh man, I gotta look up later if Superstar Saga's on NSO now. Because if you have the expansion pass, ooh, you could play one of the best Mario RPGs. Ooh. And again, eShop's leaving, so this is at least a crumb. This is a crumb of Nintendo being like, yeah, we want to preserve the Mario and Luigi series. Because now if you have Expansion Pass, anyone can play Superstar Saga. That is pretty freaking sick. That is awesome, dude. Oh yeah, oh my god, yeah. Mario World Advance 4, Super Mario Bros. 3, or something like that. The advanced games are coming there. That's also really good. That adds. I do think Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games add that much to NSO on top of all the stuff NSO has right now. Like, at this point, I would say the $50 price point's justified, especially when they added the Game Boy games. Now, my question, it's more of a matter of time and an impatience type of thing, rather than a question. It's like, when are you gonna add the Pokemon games? Because, let's be honest, going back to the 3DS eShop, the 3DS eShop, gone. You can't buy Gens 1 or 2 on 3DS. No way of buying them at all. That Nintendo's distributing the means to buy them, at least. But, you put them on NSO, you get a lot more subscribers just from how big those generations are. And now that you have the Advance, Game Boy Advance, you could put Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald on there. The first 3 generations of Pokemon, there's no excuse to not put them on NSO. Say, like, they do a Pokemon Presents in a couple weeks or so, they could just say, hey, Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, and Green, Gold, Silver, Crystal, and Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald are coming to NSO. Bada bing, bada boom. Easy subscribers, easy money. That's such free money for both Nintendo and Pokemon Company. And if you tie Pokemon Home compatibility to that, transfer Pokemon from all 3 of those generations to Pokemon Home, and you migrate them to the modern Pokemon games on Switch, this is so free. It is such free money, free marketing, and a free, easy way for fans to be like, okay, $50 back when you added N64 games with such a limited library is one thing. Now, with all the other games you added to all those existing libraries, now with Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, now that justifies it. You know what I mean? Like, this is literally going to sell more people on the expansion pass, I feel. I genuinely think it's a definite positive. Like, this Super Circuit and Superstar Saga. See, that's the funny thing. Mario Kart 64, Mario 64, well, I already have Mario 64. Paper Mario didn't sell me on NSO. The expansion pass. Mario Luigi Superstar Saga is, though. That's the game that's pushing me. That's kind of funny. It's a little funny, but that just goes to show how, like, it's... I think now it's starting to justify it. If we get GameCube and, like, other home console games on there, oh, not even a debate anymore. That's not even a debate anymore. I don't even know if you could get DS games on there, though. Because, like, you need dual screens for a lot of DS games. That's the only question. We'll see how Nintendo goes about it. I don't know if... I don't think this is going to be the extent of NSO, like, as far as, like, system libraries go. So we'll see if they add more systems to it. This was definitely one of the biggest highlights for the Direct. At least for me, this was one of them. And they immediately followed that with Metroid Prime 1 getting a remaster. And before I go any further, I'm going to toss in Skyward Sword in this discussion. Because Skyward Sword HD had like 1 or 2 major like mechanical-esque differences or like additions from the original. Right? There's probably a lot more than I'm saying. There's probably more changes into that. But, like, as a remaster, they basically just up-resed it, right? It's a basic remaster. $60 game. Metroid Prime 1 remaster, the graphics look considerably better than the original. Like, this remaster of Prime looks much better than how it looks on GameCube compared to how Skyward Sword HD looks compared to its original counterpart. And yet, Prime 1 remaster is $40. It came out digitally today. The physical's coming in a couple weeks. Like, that's, dude. That's probably my third highlight for the whole Direct. Because, like, this keeps the whole Metroid hype momentum going. With what Prime 4 established with the whole reveal, and then nothing came about it. But then Dread came along, and that was a really good game, and a lot of people were hyping that up. And then, like, it got updates and whatnot. That whole thing started, and now, here you go, Prime 1. You could play it right now on Switch. Digitally, at least. Physically, you just wait 2 weeks. You don't even have to wait that long just to play the remaster physically, and it looks really freaking good. If people want to get more sold onto Prime 4, this is definitely gonna, like, help that, but it's also gonna help those people and Metroid fans hold them over until we get Prime 4. The one thing, obviously, that, like, is kind of, really... you're just leaving out 2 and 3 out of the equation, which is like, yeah, that's and like, yeah, you could bring up the whole discussion for like the whole price point then. But like, yeah, it's like, I would rather just remaster the whole trilogy, even if it meant like bumming down the graphics, just up-resing it, period, making it like a bare minimum type of remaster. I wouldn't mind doing that if it meant getting the whole trilogy there. But what they're doing, excuse me, ooh, what they're doing with the Prime 1 remaster looks really good. It is really good. I like the price. Yeah, it's good they're trying to keep this ball rolling with Metroid hype. I'm really glad they're doing that. And that also kind of gives me a little bit more hope. They're gonna announce something on Prime 4 later on. I'll get to that when I talk, like, my predictions I got wrong at the end. But we'll get to that. Prime 1 Remaster, pleasant surprise. I talked about Baten Kaitos with the whole... Yeah, I talked about that whole thing. Mario Kart. Wave 4, the only course they teased is Yoshi's Island. But that Yoshi's Island course literally looks exactly like Yoshi's Island. It is kind of funny how much that looks exactly like Yoshi's Island, but that also adds to the charm of it all. That looks like a really fun course, regardless of whether you're familiar with or a fan of the original Yoshi's Island. They have like the birds, the chain chomps, like the aesthetics, like trying to translate itself into Mario Kart. Like, it looks really fun. They have like the floating clouds with like the question marks on it, and like hitting it adds like extra roads to it, like floating bridges and whatnot. That looks like a really fun course. I can't wait to play it when it comes to Mario Kart 8. I'm still assuming March. They said spring. I'll keep an open mind for April. Probably April. Either March or April. That course looks unironically really fun. Birdo, though. They are adding characters to the BCP. Oh my god. And there is a blurb talking about, I don't know if it's an article or if it's on Nintendo's website in any way, but they confirmed from Wave 4 onwards, they're gonna add returning characters to the BCP. They're doing what everyone wanted them to do at the beginning of the DLC, which is like, thank you. You could have done this like a year ago, Nintendo. You could have done this a while ago. Whatever, better late than never. Better late than never, right? Birdo being added to Mario Kart 8, that's really hype. Dude, she has not been playable in a home console Mario Kart since Wii. Dude, you add Tour in the equation like you can. You know a lot of people are not going to add Tour in that equation because it's Mario Kart Tour. It's Mario Kart Tour. You can't even get the entire roster in that game. You could get Birdo. You can't get the whole roster in that game. A lot of people don't like the game. A lot of people don't like it. Ripped it open before. But Birdo's back in a Mario Kart. That's really cool. They said returning characters. We're gonna get more characters in 5 and 6 of those waves of the Booster Course Pass. I'm pretty sure that basically confirms Diddy Kong. Dude, if Funky Kong comes back, it is a wrap. It is a wrap if Funky Kong comes back. That is so huge. And he's not in Mario Kart Tour. But another huge dub is if they brought back Rob. That'd be that'd be baller, dude. Oh my god. And like, if they say returning characters, it's like, do you mean just returning characters that were like returns in Tour? Or like, could Honey Queen be on the table too? Like those weird characters from those kinds of Mario Karts? Because that'd be so cool. And dude, the one thing I'm disappointed about is that they specify returning characters, right? Because, dude, they added so many new ones in Tour. Hammer Bro, Fire Bro, Boomerang Bro, and Ice Bro. Nabbit, King Babam, Pauline. You cannot lock those characters in a mobile game, dude. You can't lock those characters in a mobile game when you're finally saying you're gonna add more characters to Mario Kart 8's DLC and not specify new ones. Granted, when they started BCP, they said just returning courses. And then come Wave 2, they're like, oh yeah, Sky High Sunday is basically a new track. It came 2 weeks after into Tour, but for Mario Kart 8, that is definitely a new track. I don't even count it as a Tour track because it came out in 8 first. But yeah, there's that. Now, Yoshi's Island is a track in Mario Kart 8. That's whole brand new. That's not even in Tour yet. Hopefully it doesn't come to Tour yet before it comes in 8. Because, like, I'm applying that logic with, like I did with Sky High Sunday. But, so, like, my point is, they said one thing, And now they're adding extra content to it, and that's not even counting the custom items update too. So there is it's a very slim chance they're gonna add like some of the new characters that were in Tour in 8, like Pauline, Nabbit, King Babam. Those are my top 3 most wanted to come from Tour to Mario Kart. I'm pretty sure that's everyone else's as well. But dude, I wish they just added more of those new characters into the BCP. That's basically what everyone wanted them to do at the start. And they're like kind of doing it with some of the returning characters, but you know we all want them to do more. You know we all want them to do more with that. And we still don't know much about the rest of the wave too. It's just that Yoshi's Island course. The character thing is really cool, even if it's just the returning characters that have been in a Mario Kart before, that's still really cool. And Yoshi's Island looks really sick as well. And the obvious one, they ended on Zelda. Yeah. When they started on Pikmin 4, and like, I think like 3 times throughout that direct, I'm like, yeah, they're probably gonna end it on Zelda. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. They're gonna end it on Zelda. I dropped my AirPods. That's probably the meatiest trailer we ever got out of Tears of the Kingdom, I want to say. Because you got like voice acting stuff, a better look at Ganon, and like more mechanics, a better look at the overall world itself. That seems like one of the better trailers for Tears of the Kingdom compared to other ones we got. Yeah, game looks really cool, as always. A lot of people are looking forward to that. And the direct ending on Zelda makes a lot of sense as well. That's a no-brainer for anyone. I can't really add a lot, because I know nothing about Breath of the Wild, and I know very little about Zelda. Ocarina of Time, and a fraction of Breath of the Wild. I played 20 hours of Breath of the Wild, but that is such a minute fraction of the game. Those 2 games. That's my extent with Zelda, if you don't count Smash, right? So I can't add that much to the whole analysis discussion type thing with Zelda, like any other Zelda fan could probably do. But that seemed like a really good trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, and a better trailer than most of the trailers we got for that game up until this point. And I feel like they could probably show another trailer or 2, maybe more. We're still like 3-ish months out from the game coming out, so like I could imagine this game getting a direct in the coming month or 2, probably a month before the game comes out, just to reveal more details about it and get more people hyped, because it comes out in May. So I could see that happening. It could be the case. Unsure. But yeah, no, I can't really add that much to the Zelda thing. It just looks like a really cool game. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, that's basically my highlights for the Direct, but also just the Direct in a nutshell. I kind of went a lot on the Mario Kart stuff and the Game Boy NSO stuff. But yeah, like a B tier Direct for me, 7 out of 10. Like, it was fun. I had fun. It's about what you would expect, but there's like some surprises here and there, like I said at the beginning. Oh, don't go before I go any further. This whole yeah. I'll talk about it now. Before I actually get into the whole predictions talk, like the predictions I made that I got right or wrong with this Direct. Before I get to that, there's one thing this Direct also made me think about too. I mean, obviously their tagline was accurate. A lot of the stuff here was like stuff coming out in the coming months, the first half of 2023, with like a handful, with like 1 or 2 games coming out in the second half of the year, right? I basically figured that was the case, because that's what they always do in February. That's what they always do with the February Directs, right? But with what they showed, Pikmin's a huge thing in summer. We have Zelda in spring, Kirby next in the coming weeks. Bayonetta, Mario Kart DLC still, a lot of DLC across a lot of different games. Metroid Prime for this month already. And like a lot of third-party stuff. Yeah. Point is, yeah, obviously there's a lot of stuff in the first half of this year. Really strong first half for 2023 Nintendo already. I'm fumbling my words. It's a strong year for Nintendo already, at least the first half. But besides Pikmin, the second half of this year is like largely blank. We still don't know a lot about what's coming out next. I keep almost saying next year. The second half of this year. So my point is, I'm getting a little bit more hopeful that we might get a June Direct this year. Because if Pikmin's all obviously Nintendo doesn't just have Pikmin and like 1 or 2 other games, I'm blanking off the top of my head, for the second half of this year. They have more stuff, as like actual new games, not even just DLC stuff, planned for the second half of this year. So I feel like we're gonna get a June Direct, because beyond Pikmin stuff and like some games with the DLC like Mario Kart and Fire Emblem and such, they have to have at least 1 or 2 big major announcements. I would assume, right? I would assume that's the case. So, I want to say we're gonna get a June Direct, and while the first half of this year is really freaking strong for Nintendo with just this Direct alone, that does make me think they might have something in store for the second half of this year. Because we don't know anything about, like, holiday. Like, fall and winter, we don't know anything about the holiday for this year so far. So I feel like they have to have some big major announcement later on. Whether it is, like, a new 3D or 2D Mario game, new Donkey Kong, or Metroid Prime 4. I'll talk about Metroid Prime 4 in a bit. But, yeah, I think you get my point. This Direct did really good for giving Nintendo and Nintendo fans confidence in that the first half of this year is going to be good, but it also gives a little bit of optimism for the rest of the year as well. That's at least what I got coming out of the Direct. But yeah, I'll go into the prediction stuff, what I got right and wrong. I'll go in order from what I talked about in that video too. Yeah, no, big, major mainline Mario game did not happen. It was like a semi-big, semi-bold prediction. We're gonna get one of either at some point. It's gonna happen at some point. Chances are probably better around the summer, because beyond Pikmin, there's like nothing big for like the last third of this year. And a Mario game would suffice around them, whether 2D or 3D. So, yeah, it's whatever. Booster Course Pass, Wave 4, we got a glimpse of Yoshi's Island plus Birdo, so that did end up coming true, 1-to-1. I guess the tracks, we didn't get those, so I'll save that for when they reveal more of Wave 4. Okay. I'm kind of shocked they didn't say anything about Mario Baseball. I'm not even disappointed it wasn't at the Direct. I'm more so shocked we didn't get, like, any Mario Sports anything. Because, like, even when you factor out the rumors and the leaks, because, like, there's, like, people, like, before this Direct happened that were all, ooh, Mario Baseball's gonna be announced in this Direct. There's a rumored Mario Baseball game's coming. But, like, even when you take that out of the equation, like, besides COVID, since 2018, besides 2020, right? Since 2018, we've had, a new Mario Sports game, or, like, some Mario Sports content literally every year. 2018 with Aces, 2019 with its DLC, 2020 was the pandemic, 2021 Golf Super Rush, 2022 Strikers. Like basically every year we got new Mario Sports something. So you would think they would keep that up with baseball, but yeah, no, they're not. So I'm led to believe we might get baseball next year. Because I did say, like, either here or next year. So, like, yeah. Probably next year. But, yeah. No Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope DLC. I'm assuming Ubisoft's gonna do that all on their own. They're probably gonna shadow drop and, like, show off, like, the DLC. Or, like, just, like, give, like, a date on their own. Which, like, they could probably do that and, like, shadow drop it. Or Nintendo could do it on their own, too. Let's see. General stuff. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. That's like literally the safest prediction you could have made going into this Direct. I said no Pikmin 4 trailer. I said no Pikmin. And they got Pikmin. So, I'll take that. Sure. Very low chance of Prime 4. I was right on that. Semi-higher for Prime Remaster of some kind. I was right on that too. We got Prime 1 Remaster, which is pretty sick. And I guess I kind of touched on it. I was gonna say, like, oh yeah, Prime 4 might have a better chance of being shown off later in the year. And, like, I think out of this, I think that basically came to pass. I think Prime 4's chances of being talked about or shown off later in the year, I think they did raise. So now 4-4. Splatoon and Xenoblade DLC, that's, like, some of the safest ones you could have made too. Bayonetta, Fire Emblem, Advance Wars Reboot Camp as well. 9-4. 50-50 on ARMS 2, it's like, okay, fine. I'll classify that as an L. I'll classify that as an L. Sure. I have no idea if I have no clue if Nintendo even cares about ARMS. I'm not even gonna lie. So, like, I don't know. Either or. I want to lean on ARMS 2 existing, obviously, but, like, I don't even know, dude. Low chance of Mario and Luigi, lower than Prime 4 is being shown off, which is like, yeah, that happened. But Superstar Saga is now on Switch. Superstar Saga's on Switch. That is really hype. But not exactly what I was expecting as far as, like, Mario and Luigi. No Punch-Out? I was right on that. Oh yeah, no Mario movie news. No Mario movie stuff. I was right on that as well. If we get Punch-Out stuff, I assumed next year as well, or like a year after, because Next Level's working on freaking... They finished Mario Strikers, so I feel like they need the time. I said no Kirby stuff. But that's only because I assumed Return to Dreamland was already out, and I mixed that up with the leak. That's the only reason. Otherwise, I would have had it right if I said, oh yeah, Return to Dreamland, it's gonna show up here. So I'll still classify it as an L, because I'm like, oh yeah, it came out already. No, I was just wrong on that. Paper Mario next year, Pokemon Gen 9, DLC coming in its own presentation, which like now, that has more credence given like GBA and GB games are on Switch. So now Pokemon could be like, oh, here's the Pokemon Gens 1, 2, and 3 on Switch. Yeah, they could just do that later on. And Kid Icarus was like the one like fever dream type pick that was not gonna happen. I wasn't expecting it, but it would be cool. And like, yeah, that basically did come to pass. So 15-ish out of 8. So that's like half. It's like half-ish, 50%. Sure, I'll take it, I guess. Even though most of them are like super safe predictions anyone could have made. Although I guess I could give myself more credibility with like Punch-Out and the Mario movie not appearing. I guess. I don't know. It was a fun Direct. This was a really long discussion for a Nintendo Direct, dude. I don't think I usually go on this long, but it's also because I was rambling too. This is the one time, the couple times I've done it without scripts, but this is one of those times where I didn't make a script for it. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. Hope you enjoyed my thoughts and analysis and overall thoughts on the Direct itself and what they announced. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you very much for listening and watching. And yeah, I got plenty of other videos planned for the pipeline, Mario Kart, other stuff. Smash Brothers. I'll elaborate more later. I'll elaborate more in other videos, but I gotta start cooking, but you'll see what I'm cooking soon. You'll see. Stay super.
哟，嘿，妹妹，嘿，我来呀！不不，共和大哈哈呀！拉面，嘿，来面，买个面，共和再见呀！哈哈，拉面，烫手面，谢谢。